live stream broadcast or podcast or whatever that is. So basically, I just as like usual, I basically already tried to do the good behavior recording first. Maybe because I really wanted to complete my first trial of good behavior recording from start into the beginning, which basically have the same exact recording type because some of the recording that was in the middle, if I'm not mistaken, is actually recorded live using my mirrorless camera in the my unboxing desk, which is basically pretty different in terms of the audio quality, obviously, because yeah, I think I was technically used the shotgun mic, or it is actually the internal microphone of the mirrorless itself. And yeah, for some reason the airplay is still technically delayed. So yeah, oh well. Since basically if you talk about the Animoji, it's basically not really matters. It's just make it into a video instead of just an audio. So that's the reason why if you talk about the size of the Animoji recording that was recorded using OBS Studio, it is pretty small even for the full HD resolution, because maybe there are not many motion that was captured, because yeah, unlike when you try to do it on the HDMI video capture that was recorded from footage or a desktop recording, it basically have a very big size, because maybe there's a lot of motions that needs to be recorded for some sort of, I don't know, maybe the encoding from the OBS studio is technically depend on those kind of thing, just like the Zoom recording as well. But the Zoom recording is pretty obvious because every time you basically try to close the meeting and process the recording, there is actually a time to process those kind of video, which is basically, I think it's depend on the duration, obviously. But yeah, I think it is the result size is actually depend on how many motion that was actually needed. So that's the reason why. But for the OBS, everything was just happen instant. Maybe because it's used the same encoding like the streaming. So basically, at the moment you basically start record, you are actually already got the file result. So if anything goes down, you basically have it, still have a playable video, perhaps, I'm not sure, because yeah, it's pretty rare to have unintentional crash during the recording, perhaps, unless your computer is acting weird, perhaps. Unlike the streaming, obviously, because it's pretty often, especially in Indonesia, perhaps, where the internet is not that stable. So at some point, I used to see several of my streaming on the Twitch is actually separated into two stream, although I was basically tried to stream it in one time. So maybe because there used to be a disconnected stream in the middle, which I just don't understand why. Probably the bandwidth is currently in full, perhaps by the internet service provider. I'm not sure. So basically, today is actually the unintentional weekly scheduled free time as usual, which I'm not sure how long I can actually get, because if I'm not mistaken, last week it's actually longer than what I expected, even though I'm not really utilize it, because maybe I still don't have so many things to do during that time. I'm not sure, because right now I basically have so many videos that I basically need to record the pre-recorded Animoji using Zoom instead of OBS Studio. But yeah, the iPhone battery is actually not that high, so if it was a really long footage, I definitely need to charge it while also creating the emoji, or basically just let the iPhone goes below 80%, which is definitely a little bit annoying, but yeah, it's basically pretty worthy. Maybe at least I don't have any kind of postpone video footage without any commentary or any emoji. Even though, yeah, for some reason I don't know when will I finally start to process, edit, and also upload into this main channel, because for some reason I'm just too lazy to open the iMovie in this old mid 2013 MacBook Air. So I'm actually wanted to utilize my MacBook Air, or the best MacBook that I had, even though it's basically not the strongest computer that I had, because yeah, for some reason it's already pretty old as well, more than 3 years. So, but yeah, consider this MacBook Air is more than 10 years. So yeah, but it's still pretty usable, because yeah, all of my data is still technically in this place. So I'm just too lazy to move into the newer MacBook. Besides, the newer MacBook is also bigger, so I don't know. The main desk is not really big, my main desk setup, so it will make it even untidy than before. Even though I basically already tried to move several things, changing the setup over and over again, but yeah, it's still technically not enough to create an aesthetic setup like many people's out there, especially when it comes to the cable management, which yeah, it's just pretty hard. I just don't know how to utilize the desk, the ergonomic desk, or it is actually depend on the electronic device itself, because for some reason some of the bracket have cable management built in, or even try to customize the desk as well using some holes in the middle, which obviously pretty common in any kind of offices desk. But yeah, I don't know, because I just try to bought many things over and over again, perhaps in the past, which I try to keep near, currently near, I don't know, because I'm still technically like to move data all along from certain drives to another, so that's the reason why it's not that tidy, which basically have a lot of drives, or flash drive, or memory card, or SSD, I'm not sure. So yeah, it's still not 10 minutes yet, and but I already don't know what kind of things that I basically want to talk about. So for the native language podcast, I think I'm still trying to continue it one by one, just to give some time for me to maybe upload into my two other channel, which is for the good behavior and for the karaoke recording. But yeah, I will not try to make it as consistent as this native language podcast channel, because yeah, if I basically try to make it consistent to every channel, and at some point I basically need to sacrifice one or more just to prioritize on several other things in the future, which I just don't know. So that's the reason why I think the native language podcast is the only one that I basically try to be consistent. But I just don't know how long can I basically keep that way, because at some point I will finally finish all of the native language articles in my main blog. So the remaining will be something that I try to think about before I was recording just like this live stream, or maybe I will try to prepare several topics at several days before the recording itself. Just like when I tried to do the 11 episodes, or the first 11 episodes in the native language podcast, which basically I tried to prepare several days before I basically start to upload scheduled videos into those other channel that I will not try to relate with this main channel, because it's still not matters as well, because none of the channel that I basically already create all this time have something that finally going well. But yeah, just keep patient and be grateful and just hope for a better future. Just like what I always told all the time in the previous live stream. And obviously, if you talk about the good behavior recording, I basically don't expect anything, because yeah, it will basically beneficial for something that I will face when I already gone from this world, perhaps. I'm not sure. So yeah, that's actually the good things about uploading those kind of content. But yeah, oh well, it's just making me, I don't know, satisfied for able to do various kind of thing at the same time, even though not all of them were actually profitable or have a good prospect. Because yeah, for some reason, if you talk about my real abilities on doing something, I just don't know, because I always think that all of the things that I do is just far from perfect, and other people's can actually do much better than me. And yeah, I'm just trying to accept that and try to be better, because maybe the only thing that basically good, or maybe currently be my value others than other people, value that basically different from other people's, is basically how I can handle many things at once. But yeah, I don't know whether it is actually necessary or not, because maybe most of the people out there is try to find something one by one instead of like all in one, even though some people like to have some all-in-one as well, just like an application which is usually called as super app. But yeah, well, I think I will try to end this stream, because yeah, I'm still having so many videos that I basically need to record in the Zoom. So yeah, thank you, that's all.